us on. My name is...
Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille Show. I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you for joining us on a Tuesday afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you. So excited to spotlight the newest brewery in the Charlottesville ecosystem. It's Decipher Brewing Company. 4 co-founders, all military veterans, new to Charlottesville, and they open a brewery business in a marketplace that undoubtedly loves craft beer. I think Decipher Brewing Company is going to have tremendous success in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Their beer is very good. Their story and their brand is fantastic. They have an approachable, family-oriented brewery in Woolen Mills, and they have a neighborhood that is chomping at the bit to support their brewing company. We're going to welcome Colin Bridge and Brad Burton, 2 of the 4 co-founders, to the show in a matter of 30 seconds. Before we do, let's thank some of the sponsors that make our program possible. We're an advertising agency here at I Love CVille and VMV Brands, and 2 of our favorite clients are Interstate Pest and Service Companies and Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Let's start with Interstate first. This business started in 1969 with the first generation. His name, Mr. Robert Wells. In 1969, Mr. Wells used his personal truck to build a business. He would go to his first customer, service them successfully, and then find the closest payphone in 1969, call a second customer and say, "May I go to your home now?" Today, Interstate Pest and Service Companies has 4 generations of family working in the company, almost 100 employees, in a Commonwealth-wide footprint with the headquarters on Harris, around the corner from Bodo's, an office in Richmond, and an office in the Shenandoah Valley. We'll also thank Dr. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, physical therapy, chiropractic care, and sports medicine. Dr. Wagner is changing people's lives. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner's got your back. Judah Wickhauer is the astronaut of this spaceship. We are just in the dining hall, sitting shotgun along the ride with Judah. Judah, if you can go to the studio camera and welcome the fellas to the show. I have Colin Bridge, and we have Brad Burton. We're going to start with Colin and say first, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure. Who is Colin Bridge? The origin story, the birth story, the flip book of your life.
All right. So my name is Colin Bridge. I'm originally from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
I born and raised there until I was 17 years old and decided to do something a little different and joined the Navy. Joined the Navy. After that, September 11th happened while I was in boot camp. We, went out to do what we had to do, and where I met my co-founder over here, Brad Burton, who's my very first boss I ever had in the Navy. We became really good friends after that, and decided to start following each other throughout the country. I went to college after that at the University of New Mexico, where I majored in graphic design and photojournalism. And after that, I headed up to Denver, Colorado, and learned the art of homebrewing with Brad. After we did that for a couple of years, we kind of got our foot in the doors into the brewing world, and the rest is kind of history.
And so Megan Burton's watching, and she's going to appreciate this. It sounds like, Brad, a little bit of bromance going on right here. Talk to us about that.
I wouldn't call it a bromance. I've known this guy a long time.
Okay. Talk to us about your story, everything that's transpiring with you in your life, your birth story.
All right. Well, like I said, my name's Brad Burton. I'm originally from San Jose, California, which is where I was born and raised. But I've lived all over this country, to be honest with you. When I turned 21, I joined the Navy. I did 9 years in the Navy. I was stationed in Denver, which is where I met Megan, my wife, who's one of our partners, and where this whole brewing thing started from. My brother and I started home brewing on a whim one day, and everything just kind of took off from there. I separated from the Navy in 2008. I took up a job with Lockheed Martin as a government contractor, but the brewing was inside. So I left. I left Lockheed. I went back to school for business to get this brewery going, to get this focus on this brewery. I went to business school, and I took up a part-time job at a homebrew shop called the Brew Hut in Aurora, Colorado. And from there, we started to work on getting this brewery off the ground, and we were talking with investors. And one of the biggest problems that we came across was that we didn't have any industry experience and things like that. Well, my wife, who's still active duty, we suddenly got orders to Lancaster, California, 4-year orders out there at Edwards Air Force Base. And so what I did was I took up a job at a place called Brewery Brewing. A little shout out to them out there in Lancaster if anyone's watching. And I took up a job just cleaning kegs and washing tanks and things like that at first. And then they decided to let me brew and everything else. And I worked my way up to the head brewer of Brewery. And then we came out here. We specifically chose Charlottesville to start our brewery. Came out here and got it going.
A lot of people watching right now. Tiffany Rosales, hey Colin, hey Brad. Louise Brown Thomas, I love what's going on right now. Beth Dunlop Marcus watching. G Milo is watching. G Milo says, good man, Colin works hard at what he does. Richard Allen Fox, dude, this place is awesome. Glad to see them getting some props. Neat location as well. Neil Williamson is watching. Bellamy Brown, city council candidate, watching right now. What made them make the decision on Charlottesville, Virginia from Vic Bright? I promise I will ask that question, Vic Bright. Give it a like, give it a share on any of the 7 Facebook pages that you guys are watching this show on. Colin and Brad, no more rules from here on out. 3 dudes at a bar, shooting the shit, having a good time. Making beer, craft brewery, home brewery, seems like it got its hooks in you guys really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We started this in Aurora, Colorado. Brad, I came along and did a brew day with Brad, and he wanted to show me what was going on, and I fell in love with it right away. I found out way later that I started at the very advanced level by knowing what these guys did. As Brad said, he ended up getting a job at the homebrew shop that we had in town, the Brew Hut. And I don't know, I think about maybe 2 months later, I was actually at a poker game.
Yeah.
And I was at a poker game at a bar poker, and the manager, Jeff, looked a little stressed out, and we were talking. He's like, what's up? And he said, we may need some more help at our shop. Like, we're so busy, and I need, 1 day a week. And he's like, oh, maybe I can do it. And he has like, oh, yeah, what makes you think you can do it? And I was like, well, I brew with Brad, and I kind of know my things. And I was like, and I'm pretty good reading people. And I said, well, maybe we can have you in. And I said, I'll prove it to you. If I beat you in this game of poker, you give me a shadow shift. Wow. And he decided to say, okay.
What'd you hit on the river?
Can't remember what that
Full
ace
house,
card
baby?
was. But man, it was a good end of the night. And lo and behold, next Friday, I had my first shadow shift at the homebrew shop.
What do you remember from that?
I wasn't there. I wasn't at that poker game. I wasn't at that poker game.
Let's talk about Charlottesville. Why Charlottesville?
We chose Charlottesville. So, like I said, my wife's active duty. She has 3 years until retirement, and we were tired of moving around. We wanted to find where we were going to raise our kids, where we were going to set up shop, and Charlottesville popped up multiple times. We knew we wanted to come east, and we were looking at where we could go, and Charlottesville, it's kind of, I guess, I don't want to say spoke to us, but Charlottesville came up, and we specifically chose Charlottesville. We love it out here. It's actually absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's the reason why we are in Charlottesville. We plan to stay here. We're going to raise our kids here, and this is it.
Did the August 12th event scare you at all, coming to Charlottesville? Did you guys think about them at all?
I mean, obviously, it was national news. Everybody was well aware of it. And then shortly before I moved out here, there was the train incident as well. That made national news. Was it a deciding factor? No, that wasn't on our mind at all.
How about you, Charlottesville?
That was obviously, we knew exactly when that happened. I remember at the bar I was working at, a bunch of people were asking, like, isn't that where you're going? And, I had some great conversations with people about it. One thing, unfortunately, was being from Aurora, Colorado, we had a very big incident there, too, with the Aurora theater shootings. Life, unfortunately, sucks sometimes, and weren't going to let something make us go away in a place that we knew that we wanted to actually come and have a real good time and obviously kind of live the rest of our lives. And when Brad and Megan let me and his brother Scott know that they chose Charlottesville for where she was going to get stationed and the place we're going to set up shop, I think I actually told Brad no at first that I could do the marketing and advertising remotely from Denver. And he came back a week later and he was like, I know you could do this different places, but we want you here with us. And that's when they told me they wanted me to bring me on board as well as an owner.
What was that like, dude?
I think my
Go
next...
from Colorado to Charlottesville, never been there before, put up a ton of money, start a career that you really don't know a ton about in a community that you don't really know anybody in. That sounds scary as shit.
Yes, absolutely. It was, I'm pretty sure my next statement was, when do you need me out there?
Wow, you got some cojones, homie.
I had 2 different businesses that I was running in Denver at that point as a freelance graphic designer
Okay.
and a wedding photographer.
Nice.
And I finally hit the point where I didn't have to go chase after people.
Right.
They came to me.
And those are the type of professions where your passion is your profession.
Absolutely.
So you feel like, you have this sense of confidence. You don't have to hustle clientele. The business is coming to you. You're working as you see fit. I mean,
Yeah,
that must have been a tough crossroads.
It was not easy to just, no joke, quit everything in life and up and move, sight unseen.
Yeah.
Megan says it's the bromance that
Yeah.
brought you to Charlottesville. So maybe I was
Not
right
gonna
with
lie,
bromance
yeah.
right there.
No, when Brad and Megan moved to California, there was I noticed that was the thing I loved about Colorado the most at that point was their family. They took me in as family. Said I was 17 years old when I joined the military and met this guy who was my first boss. Yeah. It's 18 years later. It's been now, and obviously we like each other enough to open a business. So.
Throw this to you here. Going down the road, we love to spotlight the best of Charlottesville, you guys. We love to spotlight entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. We love to spotlight real estate, passions of ours that we try to showcase here. This show, a manifestation of August 12th. I was right outside this building, right outside this door, watching A12. I was watching August 12th for 2 reasons. My son was in my wife's belly, and I wanted to relay to him when he got to history class that your dad saw this transpire. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned to you guys, also owned the lion's share of this building, was concerned about the building. Okay, I saw a handful of Nazis kicking the living bejeebus out of a young African-American male right outside this front door.
Wow.
It was lingering with me for like 60 or 70 days afterwards. I could not shake it. It's like infiltrating my sleep, kind of keeping me in this like haze, in this fog. And Lauren said, look, you're either going to talk to therapy or we're going to do something about this. And we then birthed this show, which was an opportunity for us to help our small part of changing the conversation and put positive, heady vibes out into the ecosystem for Charlottesville. Where I'm going with this is, it was a vulnerable moment for us. How about the sense of vulnerability for you coming to Charlottesville and opening a brewery in a community that you don't really know a lot about?
It was scary. It was. We weren't sure how we were going to be received. We actually tried to keep it under wraps, to be honest with you, that we were a couple of guys from the West Coast coming out here to start a brewery. But I have to say that the reception we've received has been overwhelming. The breweries have all been great to us. The people, it's just been awesome. Everyone's been so supportive of what we're doing, and we can't thank everyone enough.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about Charlottesville so far. So these guys have been here for just a little over a year and a half.
Yeah.
I've only been here for 4 months. And the first thing that I figured out right away from the day we opened our doors was that this is a local-centric town and everybody's here to help. We've had so many different business owners from different places just reach out and say, hey, whatever we can do, let us know. Sometimes people are just posturing and they say that, but here it's
Sincere.
actually happened. Yes, absolutely. We've had, I've said just the people that come in, like we love to tell our story. And we're real about it, and that's one of the things that I think we pride ourselves on is, you get to come to our place, and since we don't have a staff yet, it's like you're talking to the owners, to the brewers, and that I think does something a little special when you get to ask, whatever level of questions you want, whether it's your first time in a brewery or you've been a home brewer for 35 years. I know that was one thing I loved. The brewery me and Brad got our start at, Dry Dock Brewing. I'll still never forget, I think it's like one of my first Instagram pictures was hanging out and like, oh my God, we are having beers with the head brewer. And it was like starstruck. And it's really cool to see 10 years later that, we're on that other side of the fence and hope that comes across that way to all of our base we have out here.
It 100% does. And a microcosm of this is my wife and I and our 17-month-old son are in Decipher on Saturday afternoon. And we get to talking with who we thought was the barkeep, someone pouring draft beer for us. did we not know it was your wife, Megan,
Yep.
one of the co-founders of the business, had a fantastic experience with her. She's a rock star. You outkicked your coverage.
Thank you.
Okay? She was just amazing and just made us feel at home and welcoming. And I think 2 of your kids were in the back of the brewery having a good time.
They live there now.
Riding on a skateboard and immediately felt at home. And then I'm like, dudes, we got to spotlight these guys because this is like what being a small business ownership is all about. Kids in the back, owner pouring beer. Being nice, throw that to you.
Sorry.
I mean, just the fact that it's like all hands on deck, no pun intended.
Yeah, when you come into a Decipher right now, we have no employees. You're going to be talking with the owners. You're going to be talking with the people that are making the beer. I mean, that's just the way it is right now. We're putting everything into this. Everything.
Put in perspective what all in means.
We have literally every asset we all have is into this place.
I totally respect that.
We don't have outside investors in this. We do have a bank involved, but we have put everything there.
Down to the point where instead of paying multiple rents, we actually still live together right now as well.
To save money.
Just to help save money.
I so respect that.
So it's why put ourselves out? 'Cause we're not paying ourselves right now. It's so we're wearing those 18 different hats a piece.
That's baller as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know why that's so? 11 years ago, started this business in 2008. The absolute worst time you could possibly start a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of a condo that I was living in. Now it's a rental property. This condo, I put my life savings of $32K into the business. Was unable to get any clients for 6 months. Had to welcome 2 of my best friends into the condo and rented them rooms below market just to be able to cover the mortgage so I would not lose the place because I had no business coming in the door. Was eating a $1.03 double cheeseburger from McDonald's, and when I wasn't doing that every day, I was going to the Pana Garden Chinese buffet with Ziploc bags and stealing food from the plate, putting it into Ziploc bags, feeding myself and my dog from these stolen goods. So I totally respect all in. When you wake up every morning, you have 3 kids.
Yes.
I mean, talk about motivating factors. Throw that in perspective.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that we're doing this is I'm thinking about my kids' futures here. I mean, this is about as grassroots as it gets, to be honest with you. We put our heart and soul into this. It's a labor of love. We aren't doing this to become bajillionaires. We're doing this because we love to do this. So,
Colin?
Absolutely. Brad just mentioned grassroots efforts, especially moving to a new town where you have no friends, no anything. You meet new people at work, and we were the only people we knew at work. So this has been talking to another person at another brewery's bar, and it gets brought up and tell them what we're doing, and it's one person at a time that we've been fortunate to build this place. Thank God for us, we do have a great rapport because of our whole veteran aspect. With Megan still in the Air Force, and Scott, Brad's brother, still is a government contractor as well. So at least we had a good push on being able to have those members of that part of the community come in. But at the same time, we've also had said just from the neighborhoods to the bars. I'm pretty sure we've talked to every beer buyer at every bar, kind of organically, and it came up and. I'll forget one of the guys at Timberwood Grill after Brad and Scott. One day we were there, and I brought up that we were opening a brewery, and he looked at him and was like, I knew you guys had way more knowledge than you ever let on. They would ask these questions just about regular beers they were having because they had a great beer selection.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. North of town. It's amazing. You guys live north of town?
Yeah, Hollymead.
Yeah, we're in Hollymead.
Oh, that's fantastic. Adam and his team run a fantastic outfit at Timberwood. Vic, you're going to appreciate this. A lot of people watching. So glad they are down to earth and open. Awesome, clear mission. Brad and Colin, welcome home. Charlottesville is your new home. We can't wait to call you neighbors. Some of your homies are watching. Michael Piera, glad for your success, Colin. Jessica Johnson, Colin, I'm so proud of you. Christina wants me to give you a hug. I may do that off air. Christina, certainly not on air. Zach Rissmiller, Dry Rock.
Yes.
Bob Sanders says he's watching. Ko Yamaski. Am I saying that right? What's up, Brad and Colin? Dan Ferguson McNeil, my old shipmates from Lake Champlain.
Hey,
He was our old boss.
Watching right now. Give it a like and a share. G. Milo says, thank you for bringing back darts. Your beer is banging. Tiffany says, they're awesome people. The beer is amazing. Chris Jensen, Mike Condor, welcome to the show. Louise Brown Thomas, these guys are my neighbors. They are awesome people. How about the reception from Woolen Mills?
So we didn't know when we found our spot.
You picked a great spot.
That it was one on the up and up, and two, that no one in town actually knew where it was, unfortunately. You're not going to just drive by accidentally. You're coming to see us because there's no other retail in the spot. We actually had to get special zoning permits to open up a retail space because it's a light industrial
Not to
area.
open up a retail
Or not to,
space,
but to get rezoned. But we, as our first couple weeks went by and we saw the actual neighbors coming in, that was the best part. Because, there's nothing cooler than people's like, there's finally a place in my neighborhood that we can call home. And, they would come and tell us, yeah, we'll bring friends in. And then when they do, last week there was a couple that came in, said same thing. And next thing you know, 3 days later, they brought 12 people in and played darts all night and had food brought in and spent a couple hours with us. And it was great. It's great to actually get to know this community. You're not just coming in for a product and that's it. Like, we want to be part of their experience as well.
I think one of the awesome things, I'm going to throw this to you, Brad, and Colin, you jump in. One of the awesome things about a brewery is the brewery is the proverbial watering hole or epicenter of a community. It's like a place where everybody gathers to just blow off some steam, unbutton the collar, just chill, forget work. It's like an escape.
Right. All right.
It's get away from reality. And you guys are the ringleaders of this epicenter of escape. And talk to me about that.
That's what it's all about, really. I mean, you're absolutely right, but sorry.
What do you think, Colin?
It's fun. I used to work in a coffee shop once upon a time.
So you know what it's all about.
Yeah, and so and then I ended up in the brewing industry, and it was always fun to see the difference of the person in the morning who don't talk to me till I had my coffee to the person when you give them their first beer after work. It's a whole different story. Same exact people I would serve, and it's fun. People are coming in, and it's let the monkey off your back and have a good time, and you give them that first cold beer, and it sets in, and the rest is go ahead and lose yourself and forget where you're at, and let's just have a good time no matter how long you're here.
I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit. I am a 3-4 IPA a night guy. If it's not 3 or 4 IPAs, you may have guessed, maybe a little brown liquor. I'm working 70 hours a week, busting my tail. And you get home, you spend some time with the lady. If you're there early enough, you get to tuck your kid in bed. Those are fewer and far between because we have so much skin in the game here. And we got to make sure things tick. And you have a couple beverages just to relax. Where I'm going with this is talk to us about, Brad, the beer. What makes the beer tick? What makes it good? Some of your favorites. Spotlight what you got.
When you have a Decipher beer, you're going to get what I think, personally, that beer should taste like, what it should be. We've gotten a lot of good comments and reception on the beer, the quality of the beer that we're serving. Some of the favorites that we make and we have on tap right now are the 80 Shilling. That's my personal favorite. I make that because I think it's an underappreciated beer style, and it's really good. It's malty, it's sweet, it's light. You can sit there and drink several of them. It's not going to be an issue. Same with our oatmeal stout. It's on nitro. It's creamy. It's good. And then the Hefeweizen's a big one that we make. It's traditional German Hefeweizen, and it's people just seem to resonate with that beer. It's one of our top sellers, to be honest with you.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, we have very classic style of beers right now. The thing I love about what Brad's always done is he is passionate about every time he brews. If there's one little hiccup, during the process when it's getting ready, and I've watched him, lose it sometimes. We're like, oh, what are we doing? We can't open. And we're like, man, it's all right. Hold on. Every day it changes. And when we opened up, when we got to pour those first couple beers, it was, I don't think I've ever had a bigger smile on my face. The oatmeal stout, as you just said, is the first one we did, and it's on nitro. It's my personal favorite. Right away, I just smiled, and I was like, oh, we're in. And that style specifically, I love. One thing I don't really like is when all over the country. I see this. It's the second it gets warm, a lot of places will take their dark beers off. And I love stouts. I can drink stouts all year. I don't want to drink all stouts all year, but there's a place for every single one of them. The one we make is we call it kind of a summer stout or an all year stout, and it is.
What makes it all year? Less heavy?
The body.
Yeah, it's light. It's not heavy. I mean, it comes in at, I believe, top of my head, 5.6%.
Nice.
But when you drink it, it's not heavy. It's really light. It's refreshing. The creaminess, the oatmeal that's in there with the nitro just makes for a nice clean beer.
Chris Jensen, Murph and I checked it out on Sunday. We really enjoyed it. Chris Jensen, I love you, homie. He actually was living above me at that condo, and we would be playing poker with 50 cents and $1 and whatever it may be, just to pass the time by. You got a lot of people watching. Rhonda Burgundy is giving you a lot of props right now. Nicole Scrow, James Watson, Dan Blake, Rachel Burns, welcome to the program. This brewery is located in Woolen Mills. It is awesome. Get there ASAP. Pamela Swanson Fitzpatrick, great job, Brad.
Thanks, Pam.
Bob Sanders says hot wheat and Hefeweizen. Alicia Van Dyke, hey guys, can't wait to come. Give it a like, give it a share. You're getting some props from Eric Philippe, who I believe works for Devil's Backbone. Great beer, great people. Can't wait to come get a cold one. Brian Combs from Pro Renata is watching. Wild Wolf Brewing Company is watching. Three Notch Brewing Company is watching. And Star Hill Brewing Company is currently watching the program. Give it a like, give it a share. Cheers VA, which is a page that's focused on beer across the Commonwealth, just gave it a share to their network. Congrats on all the success, you all. Great beer coming out of Woolen Mills. I think every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I'm not going to typecast it to males, so I'll say Sally, Betty, and Louise, once they start drinking craft beer, want to make their own craft beer and want to be a brewer or own a brewing company. Being a brewer right now is like almost synonymous with being an effing rock star. It's like entrepreneurship because of shows like Shark Tank and The Profit on CNBC. Being an entrepreneur is almost like being a rock star. The reality is, I don't know, I'm sure it's like this for you. For me, it's effing hard. I'm working 70 hours a week. I'm working 7 days a week. I take the trash out. I Windex the windows.
Yeah.
I clean and vacuum the floors. And it's brutal.
It is. It is.
Talk to you about two things.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship
Okay.
and brewery life.
Brewery life, it's hard work. It's not, what we're doing in the back on the day-to-day basis isn't glamorous. Where the rewards come is when somebody sits down and has
They love the beer.
and they love the beer. That's the reward for me anyway. Is getting our beer out there, getting our name out there, getting our brand out there. As far as entrepreneurship, I mean, it's such a leap of faith, I guess, when you want to pursue opening up your own business, especially not knowing. It's an unknown, but it's something I've always wanted to do. It's been inside of me. I minored in entrepreneurship in college. It's exhilarating being your own boss. It is, but the pay sucks.
Hear that, Judah? It totally does, Judah. Judah's one of our longest standing team members of the program. You're a great people, Judah. You know I love you, homie. Same question for you, man. I mean, coming from Colorado especially, I mean, that's like one of the epicenters for craft beer in
Absolutely.
America. Jumping into this, talk to us about the trials and tribulations of being a craft beer owner, a brewery owner, and an entrepreneur.
Absolutely, yeah. We got our start out there in Colorado as homebrewers, and once we started working at that homebrew shop, you do hear it all the time. You make your first great batch of beer, and it's like, oh my God, I'd love to do this for a living. It turns out it's way harder than anybody thinks.
Put it in first-hand perspective. You got journalism background. Give us a first-hand perspective.
Okay, for example, we getting this place open. I moved at Syndicate. I've just been out here since like April. The construction was 90% done.
When you got out here?
But we didn't have anything pretty up yet. That's when I came out to help, give the look and the feel. And these guys, we're getting to that point, and it was like, all right, let's get stuff on the wall. But the problem is we have no money left, so figure it out. So the fun part of, well, you can't just not do anything. So we racked our brains together and went out to all the wood scraps and that we had from everything, and the dumpster areas that we thought we threw stuff that could be reused.
If I could just jump in here.
Yeah.
The merchandise board was made from the crate that the glycol chiller came
I love
in.
the merchandise section.
It's made out of the crate of that. The
Yeah.
dartboard backings were made out of the crate that some of our brewing equipment came in. It came in a box. We were like, hey, this works perfect. Let's put it up and paint it. And so, whatever we could repurpose. The beer signs are made out of pallet wood that we've cut down and just painted and put chalkboard paint on. So.
It has a very utilitarian look to it, but that utilitarian look to it is like inviting and approachable and intimate and like welcoming. And like it honestly, and this is no bullshit, comes across as very like strategic, like you planned it out. And maybe you're saying it just kind of came together organically, but it really does. I sincerely mean that.
Yeah, it started very organically. So I think the first thing we put together was that merchandise board, and after I got the idea to kind of do some reverse stenciling on it and have this kind of, rushed painter look kind of to it, we looked around everything else and like, well, I think we can maybe, consistently make this a thing. And so, yeah, we went at it, and as each piece came together, we realized it all kind of worked together. And, so we obviously didn't want to make it look cheap or anything. We put so much into making it look like what it was. And a lot of people have come in have said, noticed that, and we tell them the story of where it all comes from and what those pieces actually were originally. And they're like, well, if you would have never said anything, we would have never noticed that. So that's good to hear.
You're going to appreciate this. Okay. This is from Pro Renata. Brian Combs, good friend of the program, legit dude, super into supporting breweries in the area. Just curious, what kind of brewing systems are they using to decipher size? Is it BBLs?
Yeah,
brand?
barrels.
Yeah.
We're using a 7-barrel Premier brew house with three 15-barrel fermenters and one 15-barrel bright tank, and we also have a 20-barrel hot liquor tank. To answer his question.
So what does that mean in layman's terms? I mean, is
a,
that a big
brewer's
rig?
barrel? A brewer's barrel is measured in 31 gallons.
Okay.
So, we have the capacity to double batch into a single fermenter if we need to. So we want to make 15 barrels of the IPA. We can brew it twice, put it in the fermenter, ferment it. Right now we're only doing single batches, just doing 7-barrel batches. But we set ourselves up to be able to grow and expand pretty quickly and easily.
We're getting a lot. Yeah, jump in.
To break that down, just one more on the 31 gallons, that would equate to 2 kegs of what people make.
Okay, there we go. That's what I
One
was looking
barrel
for.
equals 2 kegs.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So would you say in the grand scheme of things, this is like, and I have no idea. I just drink beer. Okay, this is a large rig, a medium-sized rig, a starter rig?
It's a small rig. I mean, it's a good, decent size. It's not huge, but it'll do enough to get the job done.
You got Draft Taproom watching. Draft Taproom put this on the thread earlier in the week that we put on Sunday morning. Draft Taproom seems eager to carry some Decipher at their taproom here. We have another question coming in about distribution. Who wants to handle that one?
We don't have a distributor right now. Unfortunately, in the state of Virginia, we can't self-distribute. So
Right, that sucks.
we have
It's so annoying.
Yeah, it is. We're looking into distribution. We're trying to find the best company to sign on with. But right now, the only place that you can really get Decipher beer is at Decipher Brewing.
You're getting some questions. Ask them about the name of the brewery. Why Decipher? That's from your boy, Dan Ferguson McNeil.
Of course, he's gonna. Yeah.
Why? Was that his idea?
Yeah, no.
He was just our old chief.
Okay.
He was our boss.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
Navy.
Yeah.
Why he asks that.
Well, I'll give you the whole backstory.
Please.
In Denver, when we were starting this up, the company was called Clockwork Brewing Company. We actually got the name trademarked and everything else, and then we obviously went to California for 4 years. And we apply for a trademark, and if you don't show it in use or can file an extension, it becomes abandoned. And so it became abandoned. We didn't do anything with it. And then one day,
trademarks aren't cheap, dude.
No.
Yeah, what'd you drop, like 4 or 5G?
It was about 3 or 4, if I remember right.
I Love CVille trademark cost us 5G in like 2010.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know firsthand.
I got a little bit of a deal. The guy was my entrepreneur teacher in college.
So he hooked it up?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. But anyways, one day I'm checking our email, and I got an email saying that somebody's receipt was wrong. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And I looked at this receipt, and it was Clockworks Brewing Company. So I looked them up, and Clockworks Brewing Company had started up in Minnesota and with an E instead of an O. And so we just debated trying to fight for the name or not, and
you're like, legal fees. We
it
don't want
wasn't
to pour
worth,
money
it wasn't
down that
worth
rabbit
it.
hole.
Yeah, before we're even open.
We had a
Right.
logo and everything, So we talked about it for a long time, and then we decided to just let the name go and rebrand. So if you look at our logo, there is a little shout out to Clockwork on it. But we were going through and trying to come up with a name, and it's really hard to come up with a name these days that isn't taken in some
Amen.
way, form, or another.
That's literally what we do for a living in this business. It's effing hard.
Yeah.
And so we were racking our brains trying to come up with a name. And then one day my wife was like, what about Decipher? And we're like, I like it. And it relates to the fact that all four of us were in military intel in the military. I was going to say the Navy, but my wife's Air Force. So in the military. And so we were all, it just works. We can have a lot of fun with it. The puzzles that we can come up with, there's codes that we do. People love solving the codes that we have for them at the bar. And there's just a lot of fun that we can do with it. And all our beer names have something to do with code breaking.
Broken logic.
Broken
Yep.
logic.
Yeah.
So.
That's branding.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Yeah.
realize?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
So
yeah.
you guys realize you're building a brand?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, when Megan came up with that, we passed it all around and thought on it for a little bit, and the amount of ideas that were spawned instantaneously, we knew we'd hit something. With our unique background of doing cryptology and intelligence, it's not very well known, so to speak, and we were thinking about names of beers, and with over it's 7,000 breweries in America now?
Something like
that. Like
7,000.
getting a
Good
unique
Lord.
name is hard. You never want to have that get a cease and desist. Like, oh man, too bad. So we're like, well, let's go deep into what our background is and have all of our names directly relate to something in that community, whether it's something we literally did or if it was more on the kind of the area of kind of the Hollywood version of it, throwing the spy world into it as well.
I love it.
And as they started coming out, we had big smiles on our face, and it was just fun, and like we couldn't stop coming up with ideas. I mean, it said even down to what we have the names on in the bathrooms are unique to what we used to do.
Yeah.
A little over 5,000 people watching right now. We got some questions coming from the marketplace right here. Tim in Woolen Mills says, I'm excited to try you guys out. Just finding out about your brewery now. Give me a couple of reasons why I should come to Decipher with my family.
Well, when you come to Decipher, you're gonna get well taken care of. We're gonna treat you right. You're gonna have a great beer, and you're gonna have a good time.
We also have a very open space that we just announced that we are dog friendly. We got dogs inside as well. One of our friends, Heather, actually just recently took some of our spent grains and made dog cookies out of spent grains and peanut butter. So those are, they're complimentary. And as you saw on Saturday, we're definitely family friendly. It's you come in and have a good time. We've got tons of different board games. We've got games literally on the walls. That we have a chalkboard paint that we write codes on that will rotate. And we have, Brad was saying, little puzzles, just to make it, we wanted to be a little interactive. And we love to kind of share what we used to do and kind of give you an introduction into the world we used to be a part of. And it seems to resonate with people very well. I remember we had our opening weekend, a couple of guys, after solving a bunch of the puzzles, stopped, looked up, and said, I think this may be one of the first times I have left a brewery learning something. And we just all cracked up about it. And we didn't really think about it on that sense of it, but we realize now that it's something that is working. And so there's literally kind of something for everybody, from our outdoor space to darts on the inside.
Melissa Closehart, the executive chef at Junction Restaurant, is watching right now. She says, we all wear many hats in the food and beverage industry. Laura Fauner, the executive chef, soon-to-be owner at Dooner's Restaurant, watching right now. Dylan Allwood, executive chef at Tabula, watching right now. Ian Sola Yates, Kevin Higgins, Amanda Terplowski, Robin Fetter, Tyler Berry, the owner of Catch the Chef, Ashley Barlow, Bart Isley, the owner of Scrimmage Play Magazine, Chris Kerber, one of the partners in Dominion Custom Homes. A lot of people watching right now. Give it a like and a share. You're going to get a kick out of Jared Starr's comment. That Colin guy is cute, Jared Starr says. He does not have a face for radio. If his beer is half as delicious as him, this brewery will be a hit. Jared Starr. Kristen Miller watching the program right now. Roger, who lives in Woolen Mills, says, I was just nominated for I think he may have this wrong, for a dead drop.
No, it's right.
It's
Dead drop.
right? Okay.
It's our board that you can come in and you can buy a beer for somebody that they can come and collect in the future.
So his name is on the dead drop board. Talk to us about that.
It's an interesting idea, and I got the idea from Brewery, what they call the karma insurance out there. But it's a cool concept. And we call it dead drop because a dead drop is in the world is we drop something for someone to collect later. So it just kind of works with our whole theme, is why it's called dead drop. But if you wanted to buy, somebody a beer that's not with you right now, but you could pre-purchase it now. It goes up on the board. Your buddy comes in without you, sees that you bought him a beer, and collects his beer.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's we
I love that. It's dynamic. It's interactive.
Yep, absolutely. Again, we wanted to be, everything that we're doing is kind of interactive, and the fact that the name that we had with it just worked so perfect. We have the actual definition right underneath the name itself, so people can get an idea of where we're coming from with the whole thematics of it and what it actually means.
Matthew, I'm going to mess up his last name, Weidenbach. Matthew
Yep.
Weidenbach, you guys will appreciate this. Hey, fellas, CG57 forever. I have to come visit soon. So proud of you guys. I would be remiss not to ask about the military background. We need to emphasize, spotlight, accentuate the military background. First, we say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We're truly grateful. And second, I want to ask how the military background has helped with entrepreneurship.
I mean, it is, being in the Navy was one of the best things I could have ever done. I joined for all of the commercial reasons.
What,
originally.
meeting chicks?
No, to go see the world and get college paid for.
Okay.
And then my first day of boot camp was August 13th of 2001. And so I was in boot camp when September 11th happened. So naturally, things changed just a little bit. And once I went out to San Diego and got to my first ship, we knew right away we were going to be deploying and going out to war. I look now at 17-year-olds, and sometimes I cannot believe they trusted me with what they trusted us.
For example?
At that age. The fact I said our job, we held top secret clearances and had a very important job with what we did on the ship. As far as making sure, we were the first line of defense, and being an 18-year-old kid at that point, the stresses that come with it are pretty rough, and I didn't really see it. When you're in the moment, you don't necessarily see it as much. Whereas now, at 35, I look back and can't really believe sometimes what we were doing and seeing out there. But the best part about it was, we joke around all the time. We're like, now we get to make beer. Now we get to have fun. But what it did for us is being able to work well with each other in any type of situation. We all have our little rifts within the business all the time, and that's part of business. But we're able to move on to the next thing right away because tomorrow's still coming, and we figure out how to problem solve. That was a big thing that we had to do in the military.
And just work
problem
as a
solve.
team. I'd
Great
say. Just working as a team. Like he said, we have our moments, but we have to learn how to get past them and just focus on what we're trying to do here, which is get Decipher to grow. So.
Jaybird, bartender Jack Brown's watching right now. John Dallas Campbell loves some Jaybird on this program right here. Give it a like, give it a share. How about, you guys are 45 minutes in. You've made this easy peasy. Jimmy Szynski, the badass drummer watching the program. Billy Farley, the entrepreneur behind Chill Bill's Italian Ice watching the program right now. Goals, expectations for Decipher. 1, 3, 5-year goals, if you may.
Right now,
Get people in the door.
get people in the door is step one, and which we're doing, and word spreading, and that's awesome, and we can't thank you everybody enough, like I said. Obviously, to get into distribution in the next couple, hopefully a year or so, and grow our brand.
How does distribution work? I mean, obviously, you got to have the supply to meet the demand.
Right,
And do you
right.
have the supply to meet the demand of people coming in the door?
We do, yes,
Yeah.
right now. We do.
Because that's on you, right?
That's on me. I got to
Yeah.
make sure that we keep up on beer. If we run out of beer, that's my fault. But yeah, we got to make sure that we keep up. But getting into distribution requires a lot more than what we have right now. It requires a lot more kegs. It requires tap handles, things like that we have to get out there, and it requires a lot of money to get that going.
So you
because-
basically have to take the cash flow from the business, don't pay yourself,
Yeah.
reinvest it back into the business to grow the business.
Yes.
The effing frustrating part of being a business owner, right there.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
exactly what
That's-
this is.
that's
People
how
are
it's
like,
going.
oh, let's start a show. You need $30,000 of equipment to start a show.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, you're going to do what with our money?
Yeah.
And you're going to do this, and it's going to do what? I totally get your plight. Keep talking to us about that.
So then getting into canning, everything else, we'd like to get into canning, get our beer out there, 6-packs, liquor stores, whatever. But yeah, just to get it to keep growing and bring some people in that are going to help our company grow would be fantastic. So
Would you consider, tough question right here, probably the toughest one, would you consider private equity or outside capital to help scale the business, help it go vertical?
It's tough to say.
Because you're losing a little bit of control of your baby.
Right now.
And you essentially have 4 kids. You have 3 kids that are human and another kid that's his business.
And Colin.
You knew he was going
I knew that was going there.
Yeah, it's hard, you know. I mean, we're trying to make the decisions to do what's best for the company right now. I mean, we're only 2 months old, so we're still very young, and we're making ends meet, and yeah, it's. I mean,
as long as we're doing that, that's important to us. Like we said, we're paying the bills right now. We're literally working for tips, and that's it. That's about our only cash flow. As far as the business goes, personally wise, but you know what, it's worth it. You know, whether we're going in at 9 a.m. to take care of, you know, the marketing side and the vendor side and all the emails, and then jumping on the bar at 3 and getting home at midnight. You know, it's sweat equity is what we're putting into it right now. And it's worth it. We have to remind ourselves sometimes that it's only been 2 months, but the growth we've seen has been exponential. Our day-to-day, we see our numbers grow and the amount of people grow. And a lot of it's the town of the fact that it's such a word-of-mouth town. And that has, been so good for us. We are so glad that, you know, we didn't have to go out and spend a ton of extra money to get the word out, and it's our customers are helping us with that.
I love it. A lot of Woolen Mills watching right now. I think what you guys see with this brewing company is 4 people that have absolute skin in the game. They're family. They grind. They get after it. They have a lot on the line, and they're committed to making the community a better place than when they first arrived, which is what we love about this team, along with their small business initiative and intuitiveness and stick-to-itiveness and hustle and grind. I think it's the effing American dream. We love to spotlight them. I am just curious, as a father, you are of 3.
Yes.
Your youngest starting kindergarten.
Tomorrow.
My kid is 17 months old today. I look at you and Megan as rock stars, because parenthood is no easy task.
No.
Every day is a different day, and I can't even imagine 3.
Yeah.
And then a small business owner to boot.
Yeah.
Launching a business with 3 kids. I launched mine as a single dude, didn't even have a kid or a wife.
Yeah, you know.
Talk to me about that.
You know, Scott and Colin have been big help and supporting that. You know, if I need them to get the kids, they could pick up the kids from school or something like that. They're happy to help out. It's been rough. It's been rough on the kids as well. They spent pretty much the entire summer at the brewery, so we try and make time to like get out of the brewery, take the kids to do something, you know. But they've been rock stars about it, if you want to be honest, you know. So yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. You got to have a good support network, I guess, to do it.
I can feel the emotion coming from you right now.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, I feel it, man. I have so much respect for you, and, like, so much respect for, like, what you and your wife and your kids are going through, man. You guys got so much on the line. I, like, know what it's like. Like, and dude, so much respect. I wish you the effing best. I think your beer is literally banging.
Thank you.
The Broken Logic was one of the best IPAs I've ever had.
Thank you.
No BS. My son and my wife, we had a great time. My son was on your brewery floor crawling around, and when he needed to take a nap, we literally put him in the stroller and pushed him around in the back right corner next to your merchandise stand,
Yep.
and he fell asleep. And then we had another beer, and for 3 hours or so, my wife and I felt some respite and some escape and some relaxation from the grind that is parenthood.
Which you need.
Yeah.
Which you need.
So I just mean that. I like all about what you're doing.
Thank you.
How about the Charlottesville beer community?
They have been so amazing to us. Said, you know, one thing, Brad, when he first got out here, he had no idea what the reception was going to be like. We had the vast majority of the brewers on day 2 come and visit us right before we closed, and they came and ordered another beer.
I can tell they're watching right now.
They're watching.
After we were about 15 minutes from close. You know, it was day 2. We're not closing if you're there. And someone came in and ordered another beer and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. We know you guys are about to close." And our response, you know, if you're drinking, we're pouring. And so they said, "Well, how about we get one more round? But why don't you guys join us for a round?" Didn't know who everybody was there out first, but we go out there and it was like going in almost in front of a board interview. And turns out it was the community of the breweries in town. They all introduced themselves to us and talked to us about the community. And the thing we heard from every single one of them was, if you need anything, please reach out. And we've seen it already. Everything. We've gotten so much support, so much. Anytime we've asked for anything, whether it's for some advice or just equipment to borrow or something, they've been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they're supporting us. We're going out. We're supporting them. I mean, it's been great. It's I get the support that they've shown us has just been amazing.
Megan, your wife, love you, Brad. Great husband, dad, and brewer.
Thank you.
How about the working with the better half?
It's going good. There's been some, there's always some trying times and everything, but she's been super supportive of this whole 8-year endeavor to try and get this thing going. And I can't,
respect, dude. So much respect.
I mean, to go from working as a government contractor to washing kegs was a big pay cut, and Megan had to take the brunt of the financial support for the family on that, just so I could get industry experience, learn how to do this job. So. I can't thank her enough. Jacob
Williams, so awesome, Colin. Now I got to get out there and try this epic beer you're making. Chris and Woolen Mills, I love this interview. I cannot wait to try your beer. Do you have any events on the horizon that we can bring the neighborhood to?
Absolutely.
Sure do. We got 2 pretty big ones here coming up next week.
Next week, yeah.
What do you got?
We've got our first themed trivia night. We're doing a 90s
I saw
trivia.
that. I love that.
That'll be
that's on the 28th.
Dressing up is encouraged.
Nice.
We will all be dressed up.
Yes.
And then that Friday on the 30th, we are doing our first dart tournament. So we're going to do a cricket dart tournament.
Darts is a great idea. Darts in Charlottesville are under-celebrated. And there is a dart community in Charlottesville. There are not many dart playing options. And you guys have the space to do it.
Yeah, and we can actually add more boards if we need to.
Did you bring that from Colorado? Did you guys play darts?
No.
We love playing darts. That's why we put it up.
Yeah.
Because we personally love it. And we also wanted to add, a fun game. But
something different,
Yeah, it doesn't take as much space up as a pool table does or a shuffleboard. And it's a lot cheaper for your, upfront cost.
Steve Montiel, if you're drinking, we're pouring. Colin co-opted my motto. If you're pouring, I'm drinking. Thanks for watching, Steve. We have Rick that's watching in Woolen Mills right now. Where are you located? How close can we walk to you from the neighborhood? That's a good question right there. Let's get who, what, when, where, why.
We're located at 1740 Broadway Street. If you're coming up Broadway, and I apologize to Champion for this right now. We're right behind Champion, and sometimes people will go into the Champion's parking lot. Actually, our grain has actually been delivered to them before, so I apologize to Champion for that. But we are right behind them. We are looking to get some wayfinding signs up to help point us in the right direction. So 1740 Broadway Street. We're a little hard to find. We're tucked back when you turn into the actual lot. We're the white painted part of the building that's right in the back when you first walk in there.
What are you thinking?
We said the spot where we're at, a little off the beaten path, but we got that because we have parking, free parking, a lot of it, an outdoor space as well. If you take down, you can either take Carlton or Market Street down to get to us there. It ends at the Woolen Mills factory, which is being built right now. So if you hit that, you've gone just a little too far. We do have a sign right outside our building that will point you in the direction. But once you go in there, take a far left and keep going all the way down till you see the white building with the Decipher sign.
Eric Phillip, 90s Trivia. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be dressed up. Grace says, I'm going to be there for 90s Trivia. This interview is going fantastic. Harry Howard, David Hassler, welcome to the program. Give it a like, give it a share. A couple more questions for you. You guys have filled 55 minutes. You've made it very easy. Decipher Brewing Company, this is why I think you're on the cusp of blowing up. Okay. Your beer, like I said, is awesome. The owners are in the business working and grinding, so they care about the product and they care about the interaction with the marketplace and customers because it's their skin that's in the game and their butts that are on the line. I really like the location because I think as Willow Tree and as Woolen Mills becomes proliferated with folks that work at Willow Tree, they're just going to walk and just patronize your brewery. I think Woolen Mills is one of the few relatively affordable places to live in the city of Charlottesville. You're close enough to the downtown that you still have downtown heady vibes, and you're far enough away where you have parking. You have a space that's large and spacious, and not every brewery has a large and spacious place. You also have a community that, if you look at all the businesses in the Charlottesville community, breweries are the ones that have maintained sustainability and maintained growth. Restaurants, they come and go.
Right.
Breweries do not come and go. This is a drinking town. I think the future is so effing bright for you guys, Colin.
Yeah, one thing you just said with the breweries, a big reason why I believe that is I don't think a lot of people understand that it's, for all intents and purposes, it's a non-competitive industry. We are a collaborative industry.
Competition, they call it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We've seen it already in the 2 months we've been open, and when we were in Colorado, we saw it epically out there as well. I'm sure Brad saw that when he was out in California. But we're here to help each other, and if we help grow each other, no one's going anywhere.
Is there a brewery in town or around Central Virginia, Brad, that you've seen doing some really impressive things?
I don't want to single anybody out. I think the beer scene in Charlottesville is just amazing. Everyone's doing amazing stuff, and it all depends on what you're looking for, because what one brewery's doing and another brewery isn't doing. So it depends on what you're looking for.
What's your beer choice?
My beer choice is American Pale Ale. That's my standard go-to. Love it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Why the American Pale Ale?
I don't know. It's just the perfect beer. It's the perfect balance of malt and hops. It's not quite an IPA. It's not malty. It's just, I just love them, and Sierra Nevada is a big reason for that. I'll give them
Sierra
a shout
Nevada's
out.
good. Yeah, it's good. Your beer choice. You've touched on this.
Stouts
Yeah.
are probably like my 1A, and then IPAs are probably 1B. But a lot lately, it's actually been back to lagers, though. Find a good Pilsner, a good Helles.
We have a couple of lagers coming out. We have an Oktoberfest we're going to be releasing soon, as well as a German Pilsner. So I just want to throw that out there.
I love it. I love it. You guys crushed it today. Seth Steven, welcome to the program. Mark Wogman, welcome to the program. A lot of folks watching. This is what we're going to do with the show. First, we're going to thank the fellas for joining us. You guys are awesome. Thank you kindly for your time.
Thanks for having us on. We greatly appreciate that.
Our pleasure. We are going to take the entire show and we're going to archive it in totality on ilovecville.com. ilovecville.com for the show. We're going to take the audio from the program and we're going to turn it into an iTunes podcast. We're going to do both by close of business today. Then for the next 30 days after this show, we're going to syndicate the program across 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, the third largest Instagram community in Central Virginia, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to over 100,000 inboxes. And we call this in aggregation the I Love CVille network. What we try to do at I Love CVille is spotlight entrepreneurs and business owners that are committed to the community and committed to leaving the community in a better place than they first arrived. I think Colin and Brad certainly epitomize that, as do the four co-founders of Decipher Brewing Company. We close the program the same way every single day. And we ask everybody that's watching the program to please embody the golden rule. We don't make it about religion. We do make it about treating other people in your community how you want to be treated yourself. It's the golden rule. It's a simple concept, but it's a concept that is not lived by everyone, which is unfortunate. I think Charlottesville needs it more than ever. I think the Commonwealth needs it more than ever. And I think the country needs it more than ever. It's the golden rule. I'm Jerry Miller. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care. Good work.
Thank you. That was awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good work. Good work. Seriously. Great work. One more thing we're going to do. We're going to take the 0 photo.
All right.
Package.